Our next presenters are from Mabion. They are also a 2025 CDMO Leadership Award recipient. They are Nigel Stapleton, Vice President of Business Development in Europe, and Łukasz Waszek, Director of the Quality Assurance Department there at Mabion. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Great to be here. I'd just like to point out, yes, we're another winner of the CDMO Leadership Award. We actually are the champions in our category, so I just wanted to emphasize that point here. We're changing tracks a little bit. We're heading for Europe. Mabion is located in Poland, and so I'm going to be talking to you about the benefits of working with a Central European CDMO for drug product and fill finish services. I said I'm Nigel. My co-presenter is Łukasz. He'll introduce himself in a minute. Right, Mabion as your European Biologic CDMO partner. We've been in the business for about 20 years. The first 15 years of our existence, we were a company making biosimilars. And about 5 years ago, we switched tracks completely to become a full-fledged CDMO. So we're now a pure play CDMO, discontinued all the work on our internal projects and offer end-to-end services for people making biologics. We go all the way from cell line development to final products, including, of course, fill and finish, which is why we're here. We can offer commercial as well as clinical manufacturing, and we've been GMP certified for the last 13 years. Over the last couple of years, we've done about 23 projects for various different European and US-based clients, and we're located in, well, basically more or less the exact center of Poland. This puts us in very central Europe. And a couple of words about Poland, since maybe some people in the audience aren't that familiar with it. It's one of the most stable and fast developing economies. Actually, one of, I believe, the most fast developing economy in the EU zone. Located in Central Europe, it's been a NATO member since 1997, so almost 30 years now, and an EU member since more than 20 years. Interestingly, we have a very well-educated talent pool. If you go around pharma companies throughout Europe and America, you'll almost always run into Polish people. There's very strong universities in this area in Poland, very strong vocational schools, and located in Poland, we have a very good pick from the talent pool. That also means we've got a very stable team. Our employee turnover last year was something in the range of 2%, which means that when you start working with us, you get to know us, you've got a very high expertise level team, and that team will stay with you throughout the life cycle of your product. Now, unlike many of the other CDMOs that we've heard from today, which are in themselves, I'm sure also very great, we're much more the smaller bespoke kind of CDMO. This is one of our 2 sites. The other site is actually only GLP certified. So this is our main manufacturing site located in a town called Łódź in central Poland. You might know it as Lodz, but the proper pronunciation, if I do it correctly, since I'm not Polish, is Łódź. And let me just quickly run you through it. The dark green building in the center is the office building, with on the right of that a light gray area, which is where we have analytical development on the top floor and the QC department on the bottom floor. So these 2 work very closely together and are located very closely together, of course. Behind the dark gray office building, you can't see from here, is our process development area, which is conveniently located very close to analytical development. So there's a lot of crosstalk between these departments, and they're very closely located together. At the back, the gray building with the orange stripes is our manufacturing site. The back 2/3 of it is our drug substance manufacturing site. I'll say a couple of words about that, but not too much since that's not the focus here. And the front third of that is our drug product manufacturing site, also located out of sight, but I'll show you that in a different picture later on. At the back of this building is our warehouse, where we can store lots of raw materials, final products, et cetera, et cetera. Now over to Łukasz, who's going to explain something about our portfolio and our services.
Yes, that's right. Thank you very much, Nigel. Welcome, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. Actually, my plan for this part of the presentation was to do it directly from the production area, but right now we are finalizing installation of new format for our fill line. And because of that, I'm here in the office looking like a presenter of the weather. But I have quite important information for you. First of all, I would like to start with the CDMO choosing process. And right now, it's more important than ever to choose the CDMO that can perform end-to-end service instead of spreading your services, your subcontractors around the globe. And Mabion, as Nigel mentioned, have almost 2 decades of experience with developing biological products from the beginning to the end. And our R&D department can start with the beginning of the process, from the process space determination, process characterization, and optimization for both upstream part of the process to the downstream part of the process, and of course for analytical tools regarding the in-process controls, drug product release, or stability testing. Also bioassays and physicochemical methods. This team that is focused on developing process development is then participating and working hand-to-hand with our manufacturer team. First, on the drug substance part of our facility. Here we have bioreactors from 50 liters to 2,000 liters in the scale. All the scales from 50 to 2,000 liters is using single-use materials. Actually, almost entire purification line for the drug substance is based on the single-use materials. When the drug substance is completed, then we don't have any logistic issue in our facility because we have a warehouse for the drug product, drug substance, and raw materials, and then we are transferring to the DP part. DP part works with the fully automated filling line and can support broad ranges of the vials. Again, here we have cooperation between different teams, not only R&D, but also drug substance team to make the tech transfer process and scale up for the drug product easy and without any problems. We need to remember that mostly we are working with the biological products, and here there is no margin for error due to the high cost of the product. When the product is already manufactured, then we need to release it. And our QC department is working again with the R&D department. Then the methods that were developed and optimized now are validated in the QC department. Those people are responsible for release of the product and in-process control, of course. Also, if needed, we can perform stability studies for the product, accelerated conditions and standard conditions. What I didn't put in the slides is that we have also qualified persons on our facility to release your product for European market. It doesn't matter, is it investigation medicinal product or maybe is it commercial available product. All of this from early beginning, from early development to final release is supervised by quality assurance team with the regulatory experts to ensure full FDA and EMA compliance regarding each step of the process, each step of development of your product. Now, let's move for the drug product capacities in details. Here, everything that I have mentioned before regarding the integration of the development of the process characterization, understanding of the analytical tools that will be used for release of the product, have a great impact on the tech transfer for DP. Here, we can avoid any big problems regarding tech transfer or avoid missing opportunity to optimize the process even on those final stage of the production phase. And this team is working on the designated DP area that is fully compliant with EMA and FDA regulations and work with the automatic filling line in the isolator technology with the filling volumes that can be, with the filling formats that can range from 2 milliliter format to the 100 milliliter formats. And if we are discussing the filling device itself, we work with the sterility, and we have developed, when the new Annex 1, this is important, was already new, we have developed with them the isolator that is dedicated for the biological processes. And this line is composed with the 2 main components. First of all, we have the vial washer and the purification tunnel. And the second part is fully automated isolator filling line. And this line was designed, of course, for the biological process, but also we have designed it to use the single-use materials. So we don't have any contact of the device with the product. And we use the smallest possible size of the tubings, filters, placement, and needles to minimize loss of the product during the production. We use 4 of the filling needles that are fed by 4 peristaltic pumps. And this kind of the design enables us to have a great accuracy during the filling of the very small volumes, because we can fill up starting from 0.5 milliliter of the liquid to the 2 milliliter vial. with the highest accuracy. And we don't jeopardize the speed of the production, because this filling line have a speed up to 6,000 vials per minute regarding the 10 milliliter format. All equipment is performing 100% of the non-destructive weight check in each of the format that it's suitable for. After the filling, the product is going for the in-process control for 100% control of the leak detection. We use the vacuum test for that, and 100% of visual inspection, and is also performed on site. After that, the product, of course, is going through the release for the QC, for sterility testing, for physical-chemical testing, for bioassays, and if needed, to start the stability studies. I have mentioned already a few times the Annex 1, and not without a reason. This was a very big update for regulation in Europe, and it had put a lot of regulation regarding the actual sterile production. And I have to admit that this regulation was very anticipated from my team. When we have designed this facility, we had already years of the experience in the production of sterile biological processes. And we have designed the facility, layout of the facility, HVAC, walls. We have chosen correct equipment to minimize risk on the biological process, especially in the end part of the production, so for the aseptic processing of the drug product. And when the new Annex 1 have been introduced to the Europe, the transition for our teams was very easy, and we had only updates on the documentation, instead any modernization of the facility or investment in the equipment. Let's move a little bit further. And to put everything in the short summary regarding our preparation, we have created the facility, layout the walls, ceilings. We have chosen the cleaning agents, gowning. We have trained our personnel, and this personnel have years of their experience specifically in the production of the biological process. We have introduced the advanced, enhanced environmental monitoring systems, and for almost entire production line, we have used single-use materials. Everything together is working on our contamination control strategy. And our results regarding the production is that we have 100% success rate as a CDMO production. We never lost a batch for our customer. We have never had a history of the contamination, microbiological contamination for our facility. Because we use single-use materials through the entire process, even for DB, we have very quick and safe changes between different products, and we don't need to perform multiple cleaning validation or cleaning verification if any change is introduced to the process or we change the product in our facility. And all of this is gained through the years of the experience. And when you are choosing CDMO, and you are choosing CDMO for biological production, you need to remember that bioproduct is defined by a process and everything that is impacting the process. And this knowledge, this know-how was built in our team for almost 2 decades and can support your process to have a safe and easy transition and tech transfer. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Łukasz. Back to me. It was just now already mentioned in one of the questions, but we thought we'd talk about this a little bit more in detail. The current geopolitical upheaval, the elephant in the room. As was pointed out by the former speaker very eloquently, it's very difficult to plan for this. The situation is changing every day, but it's not a situation that has started anytime recently. I mean, about 6 months ago, we're talking about the Biosecure Act. Actually, about a year ago, we were already talking about the Biosecure Act. And this conversation goes back way before that even. Europe is also already for quite a long time talking about manufacturing Europe, et cetera, et cetera. So a slide about how to cope with this kind of geopolitical upheaval. And our suggestion would, of course, be work for European supply with European CDMO. We're excellently situated to be a backup manufacturing site where you would produce for the European market in Europe, therefore avoiding any tariffs and other barriers on your final products. Being a part of the EU, any country within the EU is basically free for us. We've also been working, like the former speaker, on how to get our supply chain as free as possible of tariffs. It's never completely possible, but we have done our best to see where we can locally source raw materials, where we can locally source services, et cetera, et cetera. So this is something that we've, over the last months and years, been very active in trying to set up. Now, there are more advantages to working with Mabion than just the supply chain and the tariff. Another thing to mention for European supply would be cold chain optimization. If you have a temperature-sensitive product, it makes sense to manufacture it within Europe, where you've got a shorter cold chain, therefore less cost in transport and less risk. Finally, being located in Poland, we are in a region of Europe where costs are controllable, meaning that we can offer you a very sharp pricing, keeping your costs under control even further. One more thing that I'd like to mention here, I've mentioned it in the beginning, Łukasz has mentioned it, but we've never actually explained what the advantage to you is. Under one roof, we have the drug substance, the drug product, analytical development, QC, stability studies, and everything with that. Now, that means that we have got an enormous amount of our release testing under our own roof. In fact, we've got almost all the release testing under our roof, meaning that we're not dependent on third-party suppliers for release testing, which frequently cause delays, meaning that when you've finally got your product in its final vial and ready to ship out, you're still waiting for somebody who's doing a test, and that's a third-party supplier who's got a problem, et cetera, et cetera. We have it all under one roof. We can control it very well, meaning that we can optimize your time to your patients and your clinic. Looking a little bit into the future, I'm going to skip over this slide very quickly and explain it a little bit more on the next few slides. Mabion is expanding. This is the facility I showed you in the beginning, and now you can see at the back the warehouse, which I alluded to in the beginning. So here is at the top here is the office building. At the back there is the GMP manufacturing site, and on the left is now the warehouse. And the area on the green field here is what we're building as future expansion. Building has started, and we're going to be doing this in a modular way. So the idea is to build a shell, and in there, in a modular way, install expansion as needed, as presented by the opportunities. It's going to be 3 stories and a basement, so it's going to be about 4 times the size of our current facility. And the first expansion that we're planning to put in it, the expansion which we just completed is the additional bioreactors at the 2,000 liter scale, and the new fill and finish line, which Lucas presented. The next, I didn't realize there was a animation here. Come on. That's the one I was looking for. The next phase of our continuing expansion is going to be adding up to 4 to 8 additional 2,000 liter bioreactors. And in this future expansion zone that we've just started building, there will be independent manufacturing zones. That means that if at the moment you have a need for specific services and you'd like to work with a boutique CDMO that values its clients, that is very focused on each and every single client, because being our size, every client matters to us. This is an excellent moment to talk to us about how we can build our expansion in such a way that it meets your need in the optimal way. Summarizing the key benefits of working with a Central European Biologic CDMO. Be confident, be ready for the European market, make your supply chain robust. We're an excellent choice for a European supply chain option. We're cost effective, and we're a very stable company. We're expanding into the future, so as you grow, we grow with you. And we can be very flexible in this, giving you a speed to market advantage and avoid any more geopolitical upheaval. This slide I'm going to skip over, going straight towards the next one. We'd love to talk to you about all these things in detail. We're going to be present at the next many shows, but these three are worth mentioning. In 2 weeks' time, I'll be in Rotterdam for CDMO Live. I hope to see some of the people in the audience there. 20th of May, my colleague Marty will be at CPHI in America. Please reach out to me or to Marty to set up a meeting there. And on the 16th of June, we will, of course, be at the Bio in Boston. Now, at the Bio in Boston, we're going to have a surprise. I can't tell you very much more about it, but we're going to be doing a big announcement. It's going to be fun. Drop by our booth, come and say hi. We're going to have some kind of big spectacular reveal there. I'm really looking forward to it, especially since I'm also the internal project leader of this particular project. It's going to be fun. Drop by, and we'd love to see you there and have a conversation about how we could work together. So, having said that, thank you very much for your attention. It was great being here. And are there any questions?
Thank you, gentlemen. Really great presentation. Nigel, can I have you clarify the expansion? So I think the grass is gone, right?
Yes.
Okay. So can you talk about phase one is complete, and then the timing, like when will phase one, when do you expect it to be done?
Phase one is complete. Phase one was actually the expansion within the current facility. So that was an expansion within the current facility of adding 2 extra bioreactors at 2,000 liter, adding a number of more smaller bioreactors, adding the filling line that Lucas presented. So that's all complete. The new expansion is building the shell. That is underway. And in that, we are right now with a world-leading supplier of these kind of things, designing the first module to be put in there. Now, this first module will only take up a very small amount of the capacity that we have within this shell that we're building there. So as our clients grow and as our needs grow, and as we see where the market is going to develop, we can continue to add modules to make sure that we're ready to meet our clients' needs in the best way possible. The presentation is downloadable, and what I'm showing you right now is a little video that shows our facility. So please, people in the audience, download the presentation, check out the video. It's quite nice. We're very proud of it. Have a look around and see what we're like.
Okay, great. You talked about the benefits of having everything under one roof. Can you expand on that a little bit? Can you, based on your experience, like what kind of timeline efficiencies have you been able to achieve?
Now, timelines are always a bit of a scary thing. Everybody always plans for good weather and talks about the ideal IgG, one that behaves perfectly. In that situation, we can go from an idea from basically cell line development to your clinical product ready for phase one in 9 to 10 months. That is, as everybody knows in the audience, good weather planning, and something usually does happen. Let's be honest about that. But that's the ideal timeline. Having everything under one roof is much more important when the weather turns bad. When something happens and you have the analytical capabilities basically down the hole, you can see exactly what happens the same day, maybe the next day, rather than having to ship a sample to your service provider, getting the queue behind all the other samples, hoping that they've got the assay already validated and ready for you, et cetera, et cetera. So it's much more a robustness kind of point of view, whereby we can say that we have everybody running for the same clients under one roof, reporting to the same management, understanding how important this is to you guys to get your product released on time.
All right, great stuff. Well, thank you very much, Nigel Stapleton and Łukasz Waszek, both from Mabion, and congratulations again on the 2025 CDMO Leadership Award.